Yes. People, what's going on? It's Got Talks Football. We are back again with another video, ladies and gentlemen. Big up everyone joining us over from Dan Potts' channel at this moment in time. This is going to be a wonderful panel show. As you know what, it's been a while since I had a proper panel show. So hopefully the panel comes through and everyone jumps in, and it's going to be a good show. Hopefully we can have ourselves a wonderful day. One thing I'll need to go and get see if Sam's available. Let me and you know what? It's been difficult today. It's been difficult to find a Liverpool fan. It's been difficult to find Man City fans. They seem to be like doing their own thing, very busy, excited for the season, Club World Cup and everything going around. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Arsenal, of course, we're going to have a huge debate around what is Arsenal doing? Is Arsenal going backwards? Is Arsenal going forwards? Of course, everyone just seems to be saying that Thomas Partey leaving is a big mistake, and people are really losing their shit. Now, don't get me wrong. I personally would keep Thomas Partey, but only if the wages make sense. But yeah, bro, why are you getting cooked by a Forest fan? I was not getting cooked. He did not cook nobody. I don't know what you're talking about. He did not cook anybody. I'm still here. I'm still kicking. And he did not cook anybody, man. What we doing here, man? What we talking about? Like, who got cooked? What are you talking about, man? Overall, though, I'm personally hoping that we can get this whole Rodrigo situation sorted, because if we can get either Rodrigo or Eze, that's going to be really exciting business in my opinion. That could be a game changer for Arsenal. That could be something that could really make that could be a definite level raiser for Arsenal. We're also looking at Gyökeres Sesko. I'm still not sure who we're going to sign from that situation. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do end up sorting that out and figure out who we're going to sign from them too, because it's been an absolute back and forth, not knowing who we're going to sign from them too. But yeah, where are these guys? We're going to bring in a panel in a second. Where are these guys at? God knows. People in the chat saying, Yigal, can you react to the Club World Cup group stage predictions? You know what? I did do predictions for the Club World Cup group stages. Well, let me go see if I can find that. Club World Cup. Yeah, we did do predictions. I wonder how our predictions went. I can't remember exactly how they were, but let me see if I can sign in and find them, because we did do predictions and hopefully those predictions are still saved. 1 second. Predictions. Yeah, my son's yelling up and down the whole place. Where's the prediction? Okay. So I swear we did this. Yeah, so here's our predictions. Ahmed's in the building. Big up Ahmed. Ahmed, let's check out our Club World Cup's predictions to see how we did so far, as the boys are here. Guess what? Group A, completely wrong.
Yeah,
Porto didn't make it. Palmeiras made it. And who's the other one? Inter.
Inter. Yeah, we got it totally wrong, that one. We got it completely wrong.
So we got 0 points there. This one, we got 100 points because we got the number one. We got the number two. It's just, what do you call it?
That wrong, because Atletico didn't get through.
No, but I mean, we got 2 right out of the 4.
Oh, yes, sorry, my apologies.
We got 100 points there. It's very difficult to get all 4 right. So that was 100 points there. I can't believe Bayern didn't win this group. Can you believe that? Benfica won the group.
I mean, maybe it's just, again, as I said before, some of these teams aren't going as full throttle as maybe others are.
So. No, but Bruno Lage went from getting almost sacked. He got sacked from Wolves to now being Benfica in the Club World Cup, beating Bayern. Bayern, after beating Auckland City, they're like, yo, we can just chill.
Realistically, first and second doesn't really matter that much, I'll be honest.
This was a good comment, though. Shout out to this guy for saying the predictions. You know what? We had more faith in Chelsea than we should have. I told you Flamingo could have finished top the group. They finished top the group, right?
Yes, they did. They finished top the group.
I said they would finish top the group too. I remember saying that. LAFC finished bottom, eh?
Yes, they did. Yeah, because did they finish bottom? I thought they. How come? I thought Tunis, didn't they beat Tunis?
This is. Yeah, no, that's wrong. I'm pretty sure they finished
Damn.
bottom. They finished bottom because look, I have them in third and it says X. I know Chelsea finished second, Flamingo finished first, so LAFC had to have finished fourth. What else is there? Let's see what's next. Inter Milan at least finished in the correct position, but you know who surprised me out of these guys? Who's the ones that came in second? Because I'm shocked the River Plate didn't come in second.
It was I think it's Monterrey, no?
Yeah, CF Monterrey. And the Red Diamonds were terrible, right? So
Yeah.
good luck to them.
They were just there to participate, as they say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then here's where we did our best. Our best work was in the final three groups. We got Borussia Dortmund and Fluminense correct. We didn't get these two right, but we got everything perfect on the final two. Perfect. Man City, Juventus, Al Inan FC, and the Moroccan team, and then Real Madrid, Al Hilal, Salzburg, and then what is that? Patru? Bro, we got perfect on the final two.
Yeah, that's Pachua, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so overall, it's not bad. What pretty much we only got two groups completely wrong. We got two groups completely perfect. We had a couple groups where we got two right, and we only had one where we got one wrong. Not bad overall.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I'll take that all day. I don't know about you.
One second. Wolfie's going to be joining us in a second. But yeah, the bracket looks completely different though. Before these guys join, the knockout rounds we're going to have to redo it because the knockout rounds that we have is wrong.
Fair enough.
At least PSG is still in it. So hopefully we can't even update it. It's locked. So we have to.
You probably would have to. You probably have to remake it again. I would assume. No, you got with a different account.
No, there's a second chance. There's a
Oh,
second
there we
chance.
go.
So since the rest of the boys aren't here yet, let's do our own second chance one. I think Palmeiras impressed me, you know.
But they've done not too bad. They've actually not.
What's gonna happen? Esteval can't play in this game.
He can play in this game. He's basically
as of June 30th, he's a Chelsea player.
We've extended that for the Club World Cup period. That's why.
No, but can he face Chelsea on the 5th of July?
Yes, he can even face us on the 5th of July. He can face any team.
Okay, fair. Chelsea are going to end up playing Palmeiras, I think. I think you beat Benfica, don't you think?
Yeah, I would like to think so, yes. Tomorrow. We're going to be facing them tomorrow. Wish us luck.
I wouldn't wish you luck.
Well, how come, bro? Isn't that a benefit for you guys? The longer we play, the less, chance our players get of rest.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really think Chelsea's a threat for the Premier League next season.
I know, but it's still, still one guy that you have to think about.
The earlier you get knocked out, the better for me because I don't want to see you guys getting further in any competition. It's just rivalry. You know what I mean? I don't think you'd want Arsenal to get to the Champions League final.
I mean, I saw them almost get there recently.
I know, but you were probably rooting against us against PSG, you know?
I don't do that sort of thing.
Oh, really? Fair play.
I'm just joking, of course.
I'll give it up to you. We got 240 people in the chat. Please do hit that like button, guys. Next prediction is Inter versus. You know what? The Brazilian teams have taught me something. They've given people a lesson in football, bro. You know their lesson in football that they've been given is?
What is it?
The way they play is so direct. It's like telling people in Europe, you guys play too much passes. You need to be a little bit more direct. You need to be a little bit more forward thinking. Forget about the tiki-taka, passing sideways. Sometimes just go for it. Just go for goal. Stop focusing on trying to get numerical advantages and just.
I personally am of the opinion in regards to this of the opinion. It's just that I think they have come to play. I think a lot of the European teams have not necessarily come to play. Does that make sense? They've come to play. They've also had the benefit of having a 1 month break just before this tournament started too. So they've got a lot more energy. They've also come up like the thing of we want to play and we want to win this tournament as well. So that's the thing that I think is really separating them from like the rest.
All right. Next, Inter. So are we gonna go with Inter?
I think it's gonna be Fluminense. So Inter's not been playing well in this tournament. I'll be honest.
Fair. Inter, they lost their manager. They're in crisis. I seen friggin' what's his name, Denzel Dumfries saying, "Yo, let's go to the locker room. We'll punch each other up right there."
Yeah, that was funny. I'll be honest. That was very funny.
Bro, 2 years they've been waiting to catch each other. That's hilarious. Man City's gonna beat Al Hilal. I don't think Al Hilal have any chance versus Man City. To be fair, Man City just looked really good in the tournament, and a lot of people have been saying to me, "Yo, you're hating on Man City." Wolfie's in the building. Welcome, Wolfie.
Apologies, bro. An update kicked on my computer.
No worries. PSG versus Inter Miami. Let's be honest. Messi versus old team. He's gonna be.
That's gonna be a chance. They're gonna cook them.
PSG's gonna cook them. Messi might call a sickie for that game. Fluminense versus Bayern. Could they pull off an upset?
No.
It's gonna be competitive, but I think Bayern will get it through.
All right. I think Dortmund are gonna lose to Montero. That's the only. That's one of the.
Vidal CFM.
Montero. They've been good. They've been good. They looked good. I'm quite impressed with them. I'm not really too impressed with Dortmund. And then Real Madrid are just so much better than Juventus. Juventus are.
I just think it's not even that they're bad. Juventus bad. They just capitulate, man. Whenever they face bad sides, which is not a good look on their side.
We'll give Real Madrid that win. We'll give PSG the win versus Bayern. I don't think Bayern are up
really fair enough.
The way that they handled Atletico Madrid, I just think they could do a similar thing to Bayern. Wolfie, you agree?
Yeah.
Man City beat Fluminense. I think Man City gets to the final, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I think
Chelsea. Man City looking good, man.
I think this is where Chelsea lose. Chelsea lose to Fluminense.
Well, why have you not spotted?
Why would we lose to them?
No, the reason why.
No. Botafogo beat Palmeiras.
Palmeiras is better than them.
But they're very competitive. No. Botafogo beat them for to win the title.
Botafogo won the
title, isn't it? Is it not the title they won?
Yeah, they won the Libertadores as well.
Yeah.
Botafogo have the best Brazilian striker in the world as well. Let me remind you.
He's coming to your team. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, he rejected Arsenal for Forest, bro.
No, he never rejected Arsenal. Edu left, and then we stopped.
Did he go to Arsenal? No. Did you want him? Yes. No. Where is he? Forest.
We never even knew who he was.
Then don't tell me Zubamendi rejected Liverpool then.
No, I'm saying Zubamendi actually rejected Liverpool to stay at what do you call it, Real Sociedad.
But either way, Botafogo will beat Palmeiras.
Okay. Do you think they can beat Chelsea?
Yes.
I don't think we'll beat Botafogo. We'll probably be a little bit more stronger by the time we beat Botafogo.
All right.
I don't understand this logic. We can't say the one Man City is going to beat Fluminense and then we can't beat Botafogo. I don't think that makes sense.
Wait, Man City is better than you?
No. But the point I'm trying to make is that Man City may be better than us, but it's not that much of a gap. So therefore, I'll make the argument better than Botafogo.
You couldn't beat Flamengo, and Flamengo is not as good.
Yes, but the problem was with Flamengo, our manager could try to compete different tactic. He literally was not playing that game the way we usually play the team. He literally said, "I'm testing out some stuff. I want to see some stuff work and I want stuff to happen." That's why we actually fundamentally lost to Flamengo. So
wait, you saying the gap between Chelsea and Man City is small? Do I hear you? Right?
No. I said the point. I said the gap between us and Man City, and then the gap between Flamengo and Botafogo is night and day. We should be able to beat them if Man City can beat them. That's the point I'm trying to make. So I think we'll beat Botafogo. Honestly,
wait. When did Botafogo play Man City?
No. I'm using Fluminense as a tester. You guys are saying obviously Man City's going to beat Fluminense, right? I'm saying that Fluminense and Botafogo, the gap between them is not that much, and I would like to think that Chelsea should be able to beat Botafogo as well. So that's all I'm trying to say.
I'm gonna stay solid on this and say Chelsea. Just you guys don't breathe confidence in the final third for me, and I think these Brazilian sides are going to be a little bit more direct, cause you guys some problems on the counter, and they can maybe just catch you out.
That's fair enough, but what I will say is just that every time you predicted something like this, it just goes the opposite way. So
hey, maybe it's a good luck charm for you. Man City beat them though, right?
Yeah.
And then PSG beat Real Madrid.
Oh.
Yeah, PSG is better than Real Madrid.
Right now, yes.
Yeah. But are Arsenal better than PSG?
No, clearly not over two legs.
I'm just checking.
And then Man City lose to PSG in the final. The Champions League winner basically goes on.
That just feels too simplistic. There's always an upset somewhere.
But the upsets already happened. For example,
Where?
Flamengo beating Inter.
Inter is shit.
Dortmund losing to Montero, stuff like that. Don't forget, Porto didn't even make it out the groups. Like, I do think PSG is just going to go and win this tournament. They do seem like the best team.
I think Man City win it, man.
Fair
they
enough.
Were cooking against Juve.
Ahmed, you're the tiebreaker. Man City or
I'm usually PSG. I think PSG they know their style of play. They play it consistently. It doesn't require too much work from their players to actually do that style of play as well. So I'll probably say PSG. I think with Man City, they've still got a bunch of new players. They're gonna still work out some kinks right within the tournament. Obviously, to help them out because this is their preseason essentially.
All right. Enough said. Guys, we got 278 people in the chat. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're about to add everybody from Twitter also. And let's get straight on to saving this. We're going to save this and we're going to come back to it at the end of the tournament to see what we get right and what we get wrong. Bro, update on your boy Gittens, Chelsea. I'm not sure why you guys are so caught up on signing Gittens, but reports are that he's now close. And Ben Jacobs basically reported the Gittens deal is close. The 20-year-old is waiting for permission to undergo his medical after agreeing a 7-year contract and is close to an agreement between Dortmund and Chelsea. Now, how much is this deal going to cost? 55 million plus more, right?
No, it's going to be essentially what we're trying to do, a deal of 35 million base and 20 million add-ons. That's what's been reported essentially. So
what do they want?
Again, that's the price, 55 million. 35 million in base fee. That's what we're going to be paying. The thing that they're working out now is a 20 million in add-ons and what's going to be like, what type of add-ons are they basically looking for? That's what it is.
Yeah. So the difference between like Ballon d'Or add-ons and top 4 add-ons.
No, just top 4 add-ons, what's it called? Like obviously appearance add-ons, number of goals add-ons, you know how it is.
So are you a fan of this Gittens guy, or are you one of those people who are like, you don't understand why your club's signing him?
Oh no, I understand why the club is signing him. Again, the way the club works is that they're stat driven. If you look at him in terms of like the number of take-ons per 90, successful take-ons per 90, and obviously with him is also the amount of the ball carrying as well. That's what the club is looking at, because in a Mosquera system, as I said before, our wingers have to be very, very dynamic. They have to be like 1v1 essentially the vast majority of the time. They don't have any overlapping win backs, fullback, I should say. And so he makes sense. Like again, he may not be like of the experience that many fans may want, but in terms of like the way he will work in the system, he makes sense.
It's a potential signing once again.
Yes, but that's what we do. So like again, it's not really a surprise to me at the end of the day.
What are you saying? What do you
Does it move Chelsea forward is my question. I'm looking at all these signings now and I'm thinking, are they improving the team or are they just like squad building? And I get it. Chelsea have had this left wing problem that Chelsea fans have been crying about. And there's a lacking of left wingers who are on the market, or in general, I would say. I think it's one of the weakest positions when you look at European football in general. I don't know if he's going to change the game, but then I don't really know outside of, say, a Rodrigo or maybe a Nico Williams, and even he hasn't had that great of a season. Who is really available? So when you kind of break it down to the logical steps, it's almost a case of you have to get him because there isn't really that much better. Doesn't mean that he is the one. Am I making sense? You know what I'm saying? It's like you need someone in that position. You can't. Sancho was a dud. Well done on sending him back to Man U. So yeah, he will do it. But in general, I think it's a bit harsh on anyone to judge him on being good or not when that position, as a matter of fact, across Europe is very, very weak right now.
And I would probably make the argument just in general about Gittens himself. He's probably going to take a season to obviously embed into the team. And then it'll probably be the season after where I'm starting to look at obviously him sort of kicking on, in my personal opinion. I think if you look at the market in general, Malik Fofana, I think he's a very talented player, but obviously he's only had one season with Lyon. Again, he's another one that's a potential signing. Barcola, if you wanted him, I know that there's some people that are a bit more hesitant in him, but he's going to obviously command the high fee. Leao's there, but the last 2 seasons he's not been quite as good as he's been before as well, right? So essentially, the market for the left wing is a bit more difficult, in my personal opinion. Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. I think it's not just a you problem. I think that's an Arsenal problem as well.
I agree.
You know what? I think the options that we're looking at the left wing are quite exciting. Rodrigo, Eze, I think those are quite exciting. Gittens is high potential, high risk, high reward.
But that's what we do at Chelsea. So that's why I'm not surprised by that.
55 million is not cheap, but at the same time, I think you're going to put him on decent wages so you could sell him in like a year or two, if anything.
No, not really. Again, it'll probably be on 80k a week, 75k a week. That's the way our wage structure usually works these days. So it won't be that much money that will be on. But one thing I was going to mention, though, I think, I know you mentioned Eze. I know there's some people that have mentioned Eze on the wing. I think, though, in terms of the type of wingers that we want, which is touchline wingers, I don't think Eze is a touchline winger. So that's probably what. No. I was giving an example as to why we are not, for example, targeting him. That's why.
That's not why you're not going for Eze, bro. Let's be real.
No,
because we want.
He's too old. He's too old for you, isn't he?
You are targeting,
no, because like there's been. Listen, Chelsea have made exceptions to the rule.
This is who you are targeting, though. And what do you call
it? I mean, that's obviously that's allegedly right now. We don't know if he's gonna come through the door yet or not. What I would say,
million, they'll let him leave.
Listen, I think for me, if he comes in, it probably means that you're probably moving on to Madueke. Obviously, I know we've been mentioning Madueke moving on from the club, so that's probably what it's going to be if you bring in a guy like him.
Hey, I'll tell you this: Arsenal's not going for Kudus. They keep linking him to Arsenal. I don't think Kudus is going to Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal is touching Kudus. But Gittens, Kudus, do they really change too much of what's going on in the makeup of your team right now? Who do they replace?
It's not about changing. I think it's about filling holes.
They take Mudrik's spot, and who else is?
No. I think Gittens would probably take Mudrik's spot, in my personal opinion, and then Madueke probably would be. Kudus coming in would have to take one of those spots, in my personal opinion. Would have to take one of those spots. But I don't know who it would be. But if the club is looking to Madueke, probably be more likely him. I think for me though, I look at Kudus, I look at Gittens in terms of what our wingers were providing us last season. Was not that much if you've been open and honest about that. You're trying to get a new look, guys that maybe can actually add to the team, in my personal opinion too. Again, Sancho last season wasn't adding that much. Madueke this last season didn't add that much. Neto, you're hoping obviously was his first season. This season's got a really quick on now. And so that's what I'm looking at more so than everything else. Like wingers that can hopefully, kick on. Kudus in particular, you would like to think he can kick on. He has shown that he can do something in the Premier League already. So obviously last season the team was poor. He was poor, so you're thinking this season, obviously, you're coming into much more of a stable team. You'll do a lot more better.
Thing with Neto, I was very disappointed with him this season because at Wolves he was outstanding, and I get what you're saying about this second season thing, but I think there's a bigger question to be asked: does he suit a team that is more defensively minded, like a Wolves, where with his pace he would have a lot of grass to run into on counter attacks and stuff? And is he struggling with a front foot team like Chelsea, where that opportunity isn't there? Because he's lightning, bro. Like at Wolves, he was lightning.
Or is he just not somebody who's really meant to get like 20 GA in a season? And he's more.
It's not even about that. I'm not even looking at his GA. I'm talking about
he seems more like a water carrier and less of a goal scorer and assister.
No, but it's not even that. At Wolves, he was the main man there. He was a really integral part to it, and he shone out like a light. Apart from when obviously he was picking up his injuries.
I think it's a bit of both, though, Igar. I think what I would probably say is that I think with Neto, yes, he can work on the counter. He works really well on that. But I think sometimes also, I would say it's up to the manager at times to realize what type of play he's got, and at times tweak the system to help him out. If you look at actually, obviously, this in the Club World Cup, he's been a bit far more effective. The manager's obviously been doing a bit more of a defensive approach as of recently, and it's looked a little bit more better. So again, I think a bit of it's on the manager, and I think a bit of it is on him. He's new to this, who is new to the team. A bit of a new process, a bit of a new system, and then it's also time for the player obviously to adapt to that too. So, and I think I do think that is obviously good enough to adapt. So,
hey guys, update on Manchester United. Guess what? Brentford basically told them run up. That's not enough money. So they've bid 55 million plus 7 million in add-ons. Oh, what is that? 62 million pounds, and it's still not enough. Brentford have said they've rejected the deal.
but this is what
wait,
this is.
hold on.
But this is a prime example. But this is a prime example again of when we talk about the way your club is looked at and the way they do transfers, biting you in the ass because they can't even agree because Brentford know they will eventually pay that full price that they're asking for.
Yeah, they know United is going to fold.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No, but you guys are missing a big point here. I always get told by the United fans that their second bid is always slower than their first bid because this is the bid that they know is the one that's going to be accepted. So where's that logic gone? I've heard this so many times over the years with United. If I'm not mistaken, this is their second bid. And the reason this bid has taken 2 weeks or whatever it's been since their last bid is because this is the second Man United bid and it's going to be the one. Interesting.
You know something? That bid is really only what? It's close to 10 million, 8 million more. Is it really that big of a difference?
The problem they've got is that Brentford are being ripped apart right now. They've lost their manager, and I'm not just talking players. I think Spurs took 6 or 7 of the backroom staff.
And they took one of the guys, and they also took one of the data analysts from up.
Yeah,
Arsenal took Norgard.
Taking Norgard, you've got Mbeumo, who looks like he's leaving. Vissa potentially will leave as well. I don't know what will happen with Rico Henry. Is he going to want to stick around? This team's getting ripped to shreds right now, and it's funny because they're a pointless team. So I don't really care if Man U get him or not. But Brentford don't have to just say yes, whatever you say, Man U, because they know it's coming. They're going to have a very quick rebuild this summer. And for that to happen, they're going to need the money. So if they can slow this deal down, then they can. I think they've just appointed their manager, was announced officially today, wasn't it? That freaking set piece coach, forgot his name now.
They hired manager. They hired within. That doesn't happen often anymore.
So the thing is, the question is, how much authority has the manager been given there? Because this deal was already being negotiated before it had been officially announced. Obviously, there would have been conversations in the background, but he's walking in and he's like, yo, where's Mbeumo? Where's Norgard? This is on the way as well. What am I doing there, man?
Listen, I do think you're right, but at the same time, they're one of the more well-run clubs in the league. Surely they're not going to gut the whole team and then be in a relegation battle.
I fully expect them in a relegation battle, if not to go down.
Wow. We'll see.
Yeah, you gotta say, Thomas Frank, as much as I can't stand him, he has done well to keep this team up, man. Come on, let's be real. It's Brentford. They don't have a trophy. I got more trophies in my room here than they've got in their cabinet, bro. They're not a real team, man. Their stadium is built of Lego. Like, the sooner they go back to the Championship, the better. They do a disservice to West London. They really do.
Let them be. Not everyone can be the mighty Nottingham Forest, right? Let them be, man.
Well, we're not in West London, bro.
Let's talk about Nottingham Forest. What you guys got going on?
I just signed the best Brazilian striker in the world, so I'm good.
Are you impressed? Edu's already gotten 2 Brazilians in the door.
One. The other one's still not done.
He could have about Real Madrid.
How do you feel about Tim Weah rejecting you guys? I was surprised they would reject you, I'll be honest.
He's a scrub. I've got no interest in him, man.
Fair enough. I was actually shocked that he actually rejected you there. I was like, how is he rejecting you?
I'll tell you why he's rejected, quote unquote, is because he's such a scrub that he's bench warming Juve to come to bench warm at Forest. You're better off bench warming in Italy than in England. He's not getting in ahead of Elanga. So I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't happy with the link in the first place. I don't mind Bengula, the other winger, who's younger and has more potential and looks like there's something about him. But Weah, man, let's be real. He's only famous because he's the son of his father. That's what I mean. That's it. He was better at Leo.
I'll be honest. He's not been great at Juve, bro. He's not great.
No, but none of those American guys that went to Juve have been good. Wesley.
Yeah, McKenzie's the other one, isn't it?
McKennie's not been great either. Yeah,
but the whole Juve team, the standard of the Juve team fell off a cliff, mate. It's not his fault.
Yeah, no, but listen, but there's still individualism, right? You should still be able to show your individual brilliance.
But why would he turn down a deal to Forest?
Bro, it's hilarious because Tudor is telling him basically piss off because I don't want you. He's sitting around saying, "Oh no, I want to prove myself in this Club World Cup to Tudor, so that I can play Champions League next season." So what does Tudor do? He takes him out the squad completely in their last game against Man City. So I don't know who he's proven to what from, the coach or whatever it is. So he's just a scrub, man, and I don't want him. And we've been linked because of that rejection. Forest have gone and linked themselves to another scrub, which is Yunus Musa from AC Milan. That's Bangula. He's good. I like him. He's got potential. Belgium, 21.
Isn't Yunus Musa a midfielder, right? Yunus Musa.
Yeah. He's central midfielder.
But he's not even a winger. So like, I don't
exactly. It's like panic. Literally, they just panic like, oh shit. You know what's happened? The scout is called there. He goes, yo, you know what? Weah said no, And they're like, where are you? Because I'm still in Italy. They're like, where are you? Have a look around. Save the flight back.
The biggest news out of Forest I've seen is you're improving your stadium capacity to over 35.
Yeah, that's going up. They're building it to 35 this coming one, and then up to 42, then eventually 52.
What is it at now?
30,000 and like 72 or something, or 660. 30,000 basically.
You're doing a stand by stand, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so the main stand.
You're gonna have more than Chelsea.
What's Chelsea at? Chelsea's at 41.
It's 41, 42.
Yeah, we once the first upgrades, the first upgrade will take us to 35. The second one takes us to 42, and then there's talks of pushing it up to 52.
So what are they doing? Are they building one stand higher?
They're knocking down the small stand, the Peter Taylor stand, which is the stand with the dugouts and with the changing rooms and stuff. That's going to double in capacity, and then. I don't know if you've been there, but where the away end is the Bridgeford end. If you ever seen it, it goes like this and then dips down because there was housings behind it, and part of the lighting rules from the council was you can't block the lights out from the house. So we went and bought the houses behind there, so now we can just level that stand up to make it as high. So it will, once those two changes happen, it will go to about 42k. And then there's talks of, can they triple tier the main Brian Clough stands to bring it up to 52? I just want them to build out the corners, man. Just make it a stadium rather than a ground, just enclose it.
Yeah, just not bang, bang, bang.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the atmosphere is so good in there, but I just think if you closed it, it would be a proper, cauldron of noise. Exactly, the thing is, the stands are all different sizes. It's like it'd be a bit of a Brentford style jigsaw puzzle, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's happening. I'll believe it when I see
what you in an Uber, man? What's going on?
You're trying to negotiate deals for Spurs, man. You know what I mean?
He's been talking to Eze, man.
I'm saying we don't need. I was like, we don't need him, Mbeumo. I don't even know what's going on here. Bunna. I saw Ornstein, hater, chief hater. Like the thing with Ornstein sometimes is he hates Spurs. I've seen him do it a few times. I remember because. I always remember this because Pedro Porro, on the day that Pedro Porro signed for Tottenham, which was the last day of the transfer window, Ornstein dropped a thing saying Pedro Porro to Tottenham's off. And I've always been like, nah, this guy's always a bit too negative on Tottenham. What do you mean Mbeumo was told at Brentford and Tottenham, yeah, like he only wants to go to United? What about all the other teams that inquired about him this summer? Yeah, so Newcastle, Arsenal, yeah? So why is he not going to look? Why is it that Tottenham are being referenced in this tweet when we already knew that Mbeumo said he wants to go to United? So you tell me that none of the other teams that inquired for Mbeumo asked, hey, if United can't get the money, would you consider joining us? And he said, no, I'm going to stay at Brentford if I go United. I don't really feel like that's something to dunk on Tottenham about. I feel like Mbeumo already said he's going to United. And if Spurs have said, hey, would you be interested if you don't go to United? And he says, nah, you know what? I'm going to stay at Brentford. Spoken to the new manager. I'm going to stick around. I don't really know why this is being packaged as brand new information.
You got a bigger issue. You might also miss out on your alternative signing, which is Eze.
Eze's not. Listen. You don't know. With all due respect, I've never been a guy that gets too high or too low with transfer rumors. So my thing is who says that Eze is our target? Who says that Mbeumo is our target? Who says it's not Semenyo and Kudus? You don't know. We don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to say that this is negative, positive, anything like that. I will say, potentially, without Ange, we might lose a little bit of razzmatazz on the pitch, like in terms of like pitching players to join and stuff like that, because obviously Ange is an excellent speaker, and that might make a difference in some of these instances. 100%. I'm not naive enough to think it wouldn't. But in terms of these options, I don't know which one's our first option. I don't know which one's our priority. I'm not going to get upset about it. These journalists need to generate clicks.
There's a lot of copium there, Jay.
Eze and Mbeumo.
It's not copium. There's 4 players in Kudus, Eze, Semenyo, and Mbeumo who are all going to cost a similar amount of money, who could all add value to Tottenham.
Who do you want?
I'd take any of them.
Who do you prefer right now?
Probably Semenyo 1, Kudus 2.
Eze 3.
Well, it's gonna have to be seen as Mbeumo doesn't want us. But yeah, Eze 3, sure, why not?
All right, Wolfie, you got.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
oh no, I just seen your message. My bad.
No, that was from PC was updating.
Yeah, we got over 700 people on all platforms, 300 people on YouTube. Please hit that like button right now. Let's get those likes in. You got the Manchester United fans really gassed. Jay, if you can just mute your mic when you're not speaking, there's some echo. But yeah, you literally joined perfect timing. We were just about to speak about Spurs and everything. So guys, with Spurs being linked to all those wingers, who do you think is the best fit for them? You have Eze, Semenyo, Bryan Mbeumo, which we should probably cross off the list, and then Mohammed Kudus.
Whoever's left, if you're a Spurs fan, that should be your attitude.
Yeah.
Because Spurs don't get first dibs.
Hold on, bro. What do you mean, bro? Listen, obviously, first, with all due respect, with all due, I don't want to make this a team thing. Because I remember when you were talking spicy about what your team was going to accomplish and where you were going to land.
I remember when you told me you'd finish ahead of me. Yeah.
I know. Hold on, are we in the Champions League or not? Did I say that, or did I?
Is there a 10-place gap between us or not?
Oh, you're flexing league position and not where you're playing season.
Your manager
That's cool, bro. Bro, listen. Of the last 17 seasons, Tottenham haven't finished outside the top 8. Yeah, apart from this last season just gone. And that season, no, we got a trophy for winning a trophy. Yeah, like so don't even go there. We got a trophy for winning the trophy. So when you say you do get a trophy for that, no, we didn't. But we did get a trophy for being Europa League holders. So whether you like it, you don't have to like it, but you do have to respect it. The reigning. We're not defending because we'll be in the Champions League next season, something that you know nothing about. So we won't be the defending champions.
Excuse me. There's only 2 teams on this panel who know a lot about that, and yours ain't one of them, bro.
Listen. Sky is very expensive, so I discontinued my History Channel package. So I don't need to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You had your moment to shine. You flopped it. You dropped the ball.
Don't tell me I don't know about that trophy when I hold 2 of them, man.
Bro,
Jay, how many of them you got?
Alive, bro. You weren't even alive when you won that trophy, bro.
So it didn't happen.
Not alive
so it didn't happen, Jay.
Flex trophies that you were not alive. But if you were not alive when you won that trophy, I don't want to hear about it.
Where's that rule from?
Damn.
It's a rule that Jay has. Like, listen, if you are not alive and you won a trophy, I don't really want to hear about it. You can tell my dad about it. He'll care. I don't.
Okay. So were you for or against sacking your manager?
Like, what we did last season is not a predicate of what we're going to do this season forward. I understood both decisions.
No, I'm asking you, Jay. Were you Ange in or Ange out after the Europa League final?
The club.
Is it me breaking up?
50-50, 100%. No, it's a 50-50 decision. Like I understand both sides. Didn't really. I was absolutely fine with both of them. I'm okay with it.
Miguel, you're on mute.
Jay wasn't yelling and screaming Ange out, but he also wasn't sitting there like defending him. He was just like, whatever happens, happens. At this point, I know what the club needs to do. They just need to
so Jay knows that they sacked him in spite of him winning a trophy based on league position. The Spurs aren't serious. Are they?
I think that was the right decision.
Man, you have no say in these kind of discussions, Igal, bro. Zero say with your stance on Arsenal, man.
No, I'm saying they seen the Ten Hag situation and they basically said they don't want to repeat that.
The problem with the Ten Hag argument, is that did Ange fall out of his players? I don't think Ange fell out of his players, bro. That's the difference, I think, between him and Ten Hag. Ten Hag fell out of his players. That was the fundamental problem. Like that was also like a part of like everything else that was occurring with Ten Hag as well. I actually think Ange staying would have probably been much better for them in terms of he actually was changing his tactics towards the end, right, and everything like that. The players still liked as well. You probably could have added a few more players to him, and I think you would have been.
He gets to leave on high. He gets to leave on high.
But for me, listen. Before you go, Jay. But bringing a guy like Thomas Frank, I actually don't think it's still a bad thing because
it is.
Thomas Frank is still an adaptable manager. But as well, so I hear both sides, but my preference would still be look at Ange.
Since it's not like you went finished.
Jay, you're breaking up heavy, bro. Jay.
Jay's cooked.
Yo, Jay, you want to jump back in? All right, yeah, you're definitely gonna do that.
The old signal. Look, what I'll say on Spurs is I don't get them, right? Because when you ask a Spurs fan now, and I'll wait to ask this for Jay when he comes back, what are your expectations for Thomas the Frank engine this season? Most Spurs fans I've spoken to, my brother supports Spurs, by the way, is solid league position, like 6th and a good cup run.
Oh my God, guys, stop everything. Nicolas Jackson is an option for Arsenal. Wallah, I'm gonna slap somebody.
Who said that?
Duncan Castle.
Oh yeah, I saw that, man.
Oh God, man. Oh, please let it be true. Please let it be true.
This has to be fake news. This can't be real. We're living in an alternate universe. This is not real.
I mean, he's an upgrade on what's it called? Havertz, that's for sure.
Wallahi, the guy's not an upgrade on nobody. He's just the same shit, different smell.
He's an upgrade on Havertz, man. He scores more goals than Havertz. He's much more effective.
No, he didn't, bro.
Driver of the
Havertz
ball.
was injured and he scored less goals than him.
Yeah, so was he. He was out for 4 months.
Havertz was out for 4.
As well. So therefore, listen, tomorrow, he scored more than him the season before as well.
No chance Arsenal goes and sign Nicolas Jackson.
You never know, man. Listen, he can play on the left wing too. He solves the issue as well. It solves the issue of left wing play too.
Fake news. I don't believe it. This smells like shit. Somebody's lying.
Oh, it smells good, man.
No,
it smells like 60 million to me. So that's what it smells like to me.
Somebody's lying. Somebody's making jokes. Somebody's trying to.
Can you imagine that if we sold both Havertz and Jackson?
Duncan is legit, man.
This has to be fake news.
That would be generational for my football.
Wait, who's posted on his behalf? Because it's not actually on his.
This has to be fake news. This can't be real.
It's not on his Twitter.
No, it got a report by our top aggregator as well that he reported as well. I think he
tweeted it. Check it out.
He tweeted as well, yeah.
Duncan Castles.
Yeah, Jackson's an option for Arsenal seeking best.
Oh, please. Yo, someone message Gunner, man. He needs an emergency stream.
Wallahi, there's no chance. There is no chance. There is no chance we go and sign Nicolas Jackson.
I'm fully back in the room now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, mate.
Yeah, beautiful. Sorry, but so before I missed the Forest section. So obviously,
wait, before you start, Jay, do me a favor. Spin your camera around so I don't get OCD.
What OCD? What's it? Oh, my weed table.
No, spin. No, man, go off portrait, go landscape.
Oh.
There is no chance Arsenal are signing Jackson. No chance in hell.
What's that?
Igal, if you sign Jackson instead of Gyökeres or Sesko, are you Arteta out?
I give up on the club, bro. It's finished.
That's not what I asked.
But
There's no...
I follow you on Twitter. I've seen you've been very, what's the word now? You've been very much trying to rally your team, your fellow fans to not overreact, saying, "Hey, we're doing good business. Things are going well. It's going okay. Everything's doing well. Yada yada yada." You're happy with the business so far? You're happy with the direction the team's going? Yeah.
Are you talking?
Yeah,
to me?
he thinks Norgard's the best signing of the.
Like in general, bro, you've been. I feel like you've been happy with all the links of the guys you've signed, no? As of recently, from what I've seen, you've been happy with Norgard. You've been happy, obviously, with Kepa. Who's the other guy that I'm forgetting to mention?
Zubimendi.
Zubimendi, happy with. You know,
his happy party's going.
Yeah, his happy party. Like I think in general, you've been quite happy in general. So like, I'm not sure.
This is where my happiness goes to the shitter. If we go and sign Jackson, that is where things go to bed.
But Igal, this is the thing. It's like perception is like nobody can contain your perception of something. I swear to God, if like a team like Bournemouth sign, not Zubimendi, because obviously Zubimendi would still be above them, but still, it's Bournemouth who actually had Kepa as number one last season, and they also bought Norgard and Kepa. I wouldn't even be like, oh my God, amazing signings for Bournemouth. I'd be like, okay, like, not bad, decent. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm one of these things where it's like, good fans can rationalize anything. I know this because I'm a good fan. Like, obviously, we're good fans on this panel. I'm sure we all, our job is to be fans. It's not to be critics of our team. We leave that to the rivals. Completely understand it. But if you were actually to say, your colleagues at Liverpool have bought Verts, Frimpong, Kirkes. Your colleagues at City have bought, multiple players between now and January. You know the bar. Now, I guess these signings to me, I just ask myself, the status quo, keeping the equilibrium, is that enough based on the last 2-3 seasons for where you need to be? Do you see what I mean? So I'm not saying the signings are bad. I'm just merely saying that keeping the status quo of where you are versus where you're trying to be has already proven not to be good enough. So
all right.
When you say you're okay and happy with these signings, I'm almost like, well, what you got wasn't good enough. You're kind of standing still. So what makes you happy with it?
Okay, first things first. Neto left, Kepa coming in. That is a 1-for-1. We needed a backup keeper. Partey leaving, Zubimendi coming in. That's 1-for-1. We needed another starting midfielder of quality. And to be fair, I think Zubimendi is one of our bigger signings we've made so far. Out of all the players that are coming in, he's one player that a lot of people across Europe wanted. Real Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Manchester United. So many other teams wanted him. He's a quality player. I'm quite excited about his signing. But the fact that we've known he's coming in since January has kind of killed the excitement. Norgard, although it's extremely underwhelming, I think it is.
Say that again? Underwhelming?
Yeah, it's underwhelming because it's not an exciting signing. It's not something that's going to get you excited. A Premier League proven midfielder for £10 million is just like a sensible deal. Because with Jorginho leaving, we need to go and bring in somebody that can do what
I don't have a problem though, in my personal opinion.
A fill-in person, somebody who can play Premier League games and doesn't need time to adjust. Because if we were to go and get a 20-year-old youngster, he might not be ready to come in and fill in on
my thing is, Igal, though. My thing, Igal, I don't think any of the signings you made, I don't really have an issue with any of that actually so far. My problem is that, and I've always come back to this when it comes to Arsenal.
Oh, I didn't even finish.
No, but like the 3 main signings, I don't have a problem with it. I don't really feel like there's nothing to discuss about those 3 signings. Like,
but they're important. They're important with the next part. The next 3 signings have to be a striker.
Why? The question I was going to ask you is that why can't those other 3 signings, which I would argue are vastly more important than the initial 3 that we just mentioning right now, yet not be done so fast?
Arsenal, the way we do business, we always agree the big signings majority of the time closer to when preseason hits. So we're not paying them wages for an extra 3 weeks of football that they're not
That's the
playing.
dumbest reason I've ever heard, if it's true.
We don't necessarily put these guys on June 1st. We don't sign a player June 1st because we're not going to pay them an extra month of wages for somebody who's not going to kick a ball for us until July.
If that is a club policy, I would sack whoever made that club policy.
No, don't get me wrong though. We can still get the deal sorted. We can still negotiate the fee. We can still agree a fee. We can still do all that stuff and have everything done in the background like we did with Zubimendi.
Why Zubimendi in?
What?
Why Zubimendi in now then? Why didn't I wait till preseason?
Zubimendi's already sorted. We're waiting because
but what's he on?
Real Sociedad he's on 100K a week.
So you're spending an extra 400K. Why didn't you bring him in a month later?
Real Sociedad want his fee to be paid for the next calendar season in July. So in about 3 days.
Where did you get this from, bro? Seriously, I gotta ask.
It's reported that we're doing Real Sociedad a favor so they can balance their books better and they get
this whole thing about we don't want to bring up the big boys in until preseason.
This is how my club's operated for the last near decade. We always go and sign our big signings in July. Think about it. A majority of our big signings come in July. The last big signing that came in June is probably Lacazette.
Yeah, but that was your last striker.
Yeah. No, Aubameyang.
Was Aubameyang after? When did Aubameyang came in the winter?
And Jesus.
Yeah, but like again, I think this argument, I don't think any of us here would be having this issue if, like, you know, let's say we, from an Arsenal perspective, you've been advancing on these deals for, you know, maybe there's attackers, right?
We are
been hearing, but we have, bro. When is the last genuinely, like, from what, maybe I don't look at Arsenal maybe as much as like the average Arsenal fan, of course, but I don't really hear that much about Arsenal advancing on like deals for like attackers as much. I don't know about you guys.
Berta does business different. He works on 2 deals at the same time, figures out the financial packages for both, and then decides which one they're going to trigger. Now they're still working on the 2 clubs.
What are you talking about?
This is how he operates. When he does deals, he doesn't pick one target, work on that deal, and finish.
So what was the other deal he was working on when he was working on Zubimendi?
I don't know. He wasn't here when Zubimendi was agreed. Zubimendi was agreed in January. That's the reality. As for the striker,
what was the other deal he was working on when he was working on Norgard?
Right now, he was working on Thomas Partey's contract. Once Thomas Partey's contract was disagreed, he immediately pivoted to Norgard.
Hold on. Is Berta's behavior on Sesko and Gyökeres giving you confidence or not? You're saying this is how he does deals. Are you liking this approach?
You gotta let the man cook. It's just been his first window.
Do you realize if what you're saying is true, his reputation would be the worst reputation in football because he would be the most disingenuous negotiator of a contract. Forget football, in history. Man, there is probably legal proceedings that could be taken for misleading someone into, because let's say he's doing this with Sesko and Gyökeres, right? Sesko is currently contracted to his club. If Berta leads him down this false road because he wants Gyökeres and forces Sesko's relationship with his current club to collapse, they would have grounds to sue him for not false advertising, false pretenses on what he's doing. And then no player would want to do business with Arsenal. No agent would want to do business with Arsenal because they don't know if they're this one or this one in this so-called double deal. Bro, this is the biggest amount of bollocks I've ever heard in my life.
And Wolfie, that's a great point because Paratici does things in a very similar way. But the thing is like, they're rumors. Do you see what I mean? Like these, like with Berta, it seems a little bit more like briefings, like as in like some of these journalists have very precise information. And the thing is like I have no issue with how Arsenal are doing their business. Yeah, you need to do what you want to do. I'm just looking at it like the Sesko thing. His agent's talking a lot. Yeah, the Gyökeres thing. Yeah, his agent's talking a lot. So you've got two strikers who want to leave their clubs. I always think that's an interesting thing. When you have players that want to leave their clubs, the agents are talking. I have no issue with who Arsenal sign. I think everyone knows that Arsenal, you as a fan base, like I don't want to talk for Arsenal fans, but they want to win. You want to win. So I don't really feel like the fans want to eat a meal. They don't care how it's cooked. Do you know what I mean? So at this point in time, no, I'm not gonna kill Berta for his strategy. If you want to be negative on it, cool. If you want to be positive on it, cool. We have to fill the minutes in these shows.
Let me
right?
ask you guys a question though. What do you guys think about the defender we're looking at? A very exciting young defender.
I think Mosquera is a good
Mosquito.
Wow. I heard it's good.
Which one?
I've heard it's good. That's it.
Can I just say again now? I find it interesting that Arsenal always have money for defensive market opportunities. You always have money for defensive Calafiori market opportunity.
They tend to be a lot cheaper.
Oh, so you're telling me, right? So Mosquera, okay, so let's say Calafiori was however much, Mosquera was however much, Timber was however much. Yes, you're strengthening defense, but you're telling me for 40, for 50, this Mosquera, maybe it's going to cost 25, maybe 30, whatever. So you're telling me for these amounts of money, you can't find promising young attackers that you think can blend into the squad. You can't find market opportunity signings in attack. I don't think that. I think it's more about being content with the players you're working with and being happy and thinking you can get more out of them. That's what I think it comes down to at its very core. And I think if you're saying that, the manager has to take the blame then when the players don't get over the line, because you're saying what I have is sufficient. You can't just turn around and be like, oh, I need X and Y. You know, going into the season, you had Jesus and you had Havertz, and you said, okay, this is the manager said this is enough. If it wasn't for Jesus getting injured just before the deadline, you might not even have got Sterling. Jesus gets injured 2 weeks later. Do you even get Sterling? So this is my point in terms of now you're at a point where Arteta is almost at gunpoint with people saying you must buy attackers. Do you know what I mean? Like if you won the league last season, would you even be saying we need attackers? Do you see what I mean? So it's very relative. It's very relative to me.
The club is changing how they operate, and
because why though? Like you can,
we can keep
walking. But we can keep walking. We can say the club has changed the way they operate because they've been unable to get over the line. Now that decision could have been taken a year ago of buying an attacker, unless you don't have the money to buy an attacker. I just want to understand truly why Arsenal are making the decision. We speculate, but let's at least logically look at why.
Let's break it down. The reason why we got Kepa for $5 million from Chelsea is because he's a cheap backup and it allows us to focus more money on the final third. The reason why we're getting Norgard for cheap is because he allows us to spend more money on the final third. The reason why we're now going to go get this defender for $20 million is because instead of spending $50 million on a backup, we're spending a decent amount of money. And finally, when it comes to the money that we should be spending in the final third, we're going to probably spend around 60 to 70 on a striker. We're going to probably spend another 60 to 90 on the winger if we get Rodrigo or Eze. And now my question to you guys is, does Arsenal's window look a lot better if we pull off Rodrigo and Gyökeres, or we pull off Eze?
You can't jump to the question when you've just thrown some hell of a statement out there.
What was this?
You said that by getting a cheap goalkeeper, you can spend more in front. By getting a cheap defender, by getting Norgard, same logic, you can spend more. Are you seriously trying to tell me that had you bought an expensive midfielder or an expensive backup goalkeeper, Arsenal would not have the money to go and get a Gyökeres and to go and get a Rodrigo? Is that what you're saying? If I follow that logic through,
they want to spend and focus spending the majority of the money that they have to their disposal this window on the forward line.
And you think, okay, let me put it this way. If you had spent double the money on each of those positions, would that have impeded you still going for Gyökeres and for Rodrigo? So if Norgard cost you double, so 20, if this defender cost you 40, and if Kepa cost you 10, yeah, so I'm doubling their price. Would that really have impacted Arsenal on what they can spend? And would that have stopped you spending on Gyökeres and Rodrigo?
Potentially, because it depends how much money you save.
Bro, are you actually serious?
Yeah, because if you think about the money that we've saved by getting Kepa for 5 million, getting Norgard for 10 million, plus Thomas Partey's wages is
okay. So if the money is as tight as you're making it out to be, why the hell have you bought them in that order? Surely
the reason
logic would dictate that the biggest outlay to make sure you can afford it would be the one you get in first. And then you see what pennies you have left over and you can put them on the squad. Because there is no way your logic would make any sense, bro, in what you've just said. It can't work that way around. You don't spend the little bit and then say, okay, yeah, I've just because we've done that, now I've got enough for the big piece.
I get
particularly also, like, if we just look at Norgard ain't going anywhere. I don't see anyone that's been linked with Norgard other than yourselves. I've not seen anyone linked with Kepa Arrizabalaga other than yourselves, right? Who's the other guy that you brought? Zumedi, obviously that was a preseason signing. The other two signings, no one was running for them at this moment in time.
Yeah. Does anyone ever go to the restaurant and then go to the sides and say, okay, I can afford my string beans, I can afford my chips. Okay, so I put that on. Okay, how much money do I have left for the main?
Exactly, bro.
It's never been done in the history of the world. In the history of people ordering meals in restaurants, nobody has ever gone to the sides first and budgeted the sides into their main budget.
No, but guys,
said, okay, what can I afford with the main?
Guys,
you know what it is? I'm just going to say this again. You know what it is? It's like buying car insurance before you bought the car and then seeing what you got left over for the car and what you paid for it, man.
Arsenal are not going out there and doing what you guys are saying. We've already negotiated the price for the main. We know how much money we have to put aside for that. What we're doing now is to try to save as much money possible in other positions and still solve our areas.
Oh, you don't even know who you're going for.
We're looking for opportunities. We're looking for opportunities where we can save money plus get in quality, decent Premier League backups. Kepa, 5 million Premier League backup, not bad. 10 million for Norgard, Premier League backup, not bad. Kepa, what do you call it? Going and getting this Mosquera guy. He's one of the most highly touted young centre backs that we're going to be coming in.
Oh, you're missing the point, Miguel. You're missing the point, bro.
You guys are missing the point.
I'm not missing the point.
I've got a nice little agenda to cook here. Again, I want to ask you this question, right? Because you bought Zubimendi, right? 60 million he cost. You paid over the asking price because you said you want this player. Does it worry you a little bit, yeah? That in these other options of what you're trying to do, you don't have the player per se where you're saying, I'm going to get this player at any cost. You're going into this season now, yeah, and you're looking at players and you're saying, you know what, we'll do that deal if the money's right. If the money's right, we'll buy it. No, that's what I'm saying. When Liverpool wanted to buy Kirkes, Wirtz, yeah, they went to Wirtz and they said, we are buying this guy. We are buying this guy and we're entering into the negotiation to secure this player because we know we want this guy. With City buying their players, we are going into this negotiation. We're buying this guy. You can make the argument about the money.
That's what we're trying to do with Rodrigo.
Bro, what I'm saying is like, I have not seen Arsenal enter into a negotiation with the sole purpose of securing that player in this window for one of your targets.
Yeah.
Which then makes me
think, only June 27th.
Bro, no, but Igal, it's what you said, bro. Like, let me ask Igal this, right? What you've said, to summarize, is that you have a pot of money. It's not infinite, it's a pot, correct? Yeah. So let's just call it 200 million. For example, I don't know what it might, just for ease of maths, 200 million. Okay. If you've then gone and spent your money on Kepa, Norgard, this defender, and then you come to Gyökeres, and finally we get to hear that it's Gyökeres you want over Sesko. Okay. And let's just say you've already spent 110 million of that money and you're prepared. I'm just making numbers up just to work in this thing, right? You said to Sporting, here's 90 million. For him, they turn around and say, no, we want 100 million. Okay, forget the numbers. Yeah, just work in the pot. Are you then going to tell me that Arsenal are going to stop the whole deal over 10 million because it's now 10 million over the budget that they accounted for when they were buying these desserts, when they were buying these things to start
Arsenal, with? I'm just simply saying Arsenal are trying to find opportunities that are going to, one, be quality players for cheap to try to fill in the outside signings, because there are always players that we leave short. Jay said,
No, you said you put the money aside
Jay
for the
said
strikers.
a couple weeks ago, you're not going to sign 6 players. Well, the way you go and sign 6 players is you go and get a $5 million backup keeper. You go and get a $10 million third choice DM. That's how you go and you have the money stretched to then get 6 players. And that's basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying
it's not. No, it's not, Igal. That's absolute rubbish.
You save the money for the big signings.
Do you know what you're missing? Do you know the biggest point you're missing in all this logic you've said is the outgoings? Because what you're forgetting is that if you suddenly find yourself in a position where you're 30, 40 million shy, yeah, what Arsenal and what Chelsea would do, well, Chelsea would do, for example, Man City have done, is they would sell an academy player for 20, 30, 40 million pounds. That gives them pure profit to do it. So your whole plan here that you're trying to tell us that Arsenal have this fixed pot is rubbish, because at any point someone might come in and say, I don't know, Ben White. Someone wants Ben White, and Arsenal see it as a
Martinelli.
Whatever, whoever. I'm just giving you a random name. Someone could come in, they sell them, you suddenly find yourself with more money in the pot. Then you can go and buy your 5, 6 players. Things are fluid in a transfer market. You can't dictate what's going to happen from day one to what it is, because what happens if you went to Gyökeres tomorrow and he said, you know what, Real Madrid just called me and I'm going there now. There goes your whole budget.
No, but that's why we've been negotiating 2 signings at the same time.
That's why you need to be careful, because at any point someone could come in and take him.
Yeah,
listen,
but my point
is, guys, we can't judge Berta. We can't judge Berta. It's too early in the window to judge him.
Okay, right. So, I just want to say one other thing. Yeah. So, 2 things actually. One is, that's absolutely fine. And my point was really more like, the Arsenal definitively know who they want, who's going to improve the team.
They know, but the public don't.
So, my point is, if they do, they don't seem to be negotiating with that kind of energy. I could be wrong. And fair dues, whoever they secure, they don't need to buy the player now, 100%. Try and get them in for pre-season. As long as they're here for the first game of the season, you know, who's moaning? My point is just the way they're going about it. I'm just asking the question, do they...
It does come off as somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. I get it.
I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing. I'm saying, but do you definitively know who you want? Or are you going to buy the player that's the best value?
Based on the links, we don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. So my point is that's an open thing. Second thing is, with Paratici, fantastic at buying players. Look at Berta doing these deals, yada yada. Cool. Selling players. That's also your job. Hold on, bro. I'm saying selling players is also your job. And Paratici was not great at selling players. He could buy players, but he couldn't sell players. I'm watching Berta, and I'm looking. Okay, who's going out, and what are you getting for them? That's a big part of his job. Let's see what he does in that side. You know what? You want to see he's cooking? Okay, who have you sold? How much money are you getting for your sales? Let me see that part of your job, because that's in your job. So I'm curious to see how he does. No idea yet. Let's see how he gets on.
Yeah, but Jay, we can only base on the evidence we've seen so far.
We don't have enough evidence to come to a conclusion.
Yes, we do. I'll tell you why we do have enough evidence, because we've seen Liverpool move. We've seen Man City move. We've seen Man United moving. Even my team has moved. Even Jay's dusty team has done a deal or 2 as well.
We've technically signed 3 players.
But you, or not you.
Dusty was unnecessary for the Europa League champions, by the way. But carry on, Morphin.
Okay. The whole footballing world knows Arsenal need a number 9. And I would look, if you needed a number 9 just because you hadn't had one for a year, then we could understand it. 2 years, maybe. 4 years now, bro. 4 years. And the fact you didn't sign anyway, you didn't sign one in January.
We're gonna sign one in
January is because you're holding out for the right person.
We're gonna sign one of Sesko or Gyökeres.
You better hope no one snaps them up, bro. Because I'd love to know what the backup plan to that is. Is it Nicolas Jackson or is it Ollie Watkins? Ollie Watkins. You see, there's more PR being spun at the Arsenal fans without realizing. They're spinning Ollie Watkins or Nicolas Jackson so that when you do get Sesko, no one's kicking off that you didn't get Gyökeres, because everyone will be like, well, at least we didn't get Nicolas Jackson. That's the PR being spun at you guys now without even realizing, man.
Listen, I don't mind whoever Arsenal buy, and when they buy it, it's absolutely like if they want Sesko and they're going to try and, they got plenty of time for pre-season. If they know he's the guy and, they're going to try and negotiate it and take their time with it. Cool.
I don't want
Sesko. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what they're doing, so I don't want to come across as I'm being overly harsh. That's what I'm saying. But obviously we have to, I'm speculating. And Wolfie makes a point in terms of like things change.
But did you hear today's report? The report today is Real Sociedad, what do you call it? RB Leipzig wants 100 million for Sesko. So nobody's paying that.
That's my point. So that's a lot of money, and if you're gonna spend that money, you have to know he's your guy.
But the good thing I'm hearing is I'm happy I'm hearing names as Rodrigo replacements. So in the case we don't get Rodrigo, if we pivot for Eze, I'm gonna be happy with Eze.
That's fine. And Eze is a really good player, a very, very good player, and he's going to add value to the team. And
Football London reported
that bro, it'll be a good.
Sesko's team wants 99 million, and I was like, what?
So, and that's no issue. If you get Eze and Gyökeres, absolutely, great signings. The team will be better than it was last season. And
if you get Rodrigo and Gyökeres, even better, no?
Like it's no.
Who's better, Rodrigo or Eze in your eyes?
For Arsenal, probably Rodrigo. Who do I prefer as a player? Maybe Eze slightly. I'm not sure.
What are you saying,
the
Wolfie?
thing with Rodrigo is, and I'll always say this, the thing, can I just say quickly on Rodrigo? The mind will create gaps in don't see. The guy hasn't really played on the left wing. He's not right wing. So now the little bits of game he plays on the left wing, so extrapolate that across 38 games, that's what you're getting from him as a left winger. We don't know truly what you're going to get from him as a left winger. You're going to spend 80 million plus money on that guy to play left wing. And the sample size isn't massive in terms of what you're going to get for that. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, very good player. Is he gonna move the needle? I think he's gonna add a lot of value.
I think Rodrigo is a needle mover, and I think Eze is a clutch player.
I'm not sure he's as much of a needle mover as he's reported to be. But I also think that could be a little unfair because someone.
What about Eze? Is Eze a needle mover?
I think he's shown he's a needle mover at Palace. Like, I'm not trying to say that what he's done at Palace is better.
Why are people saying I'm making stuff up? Where have you been? Both Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook have reported that Eze is Arsenal's backup to Rodrigo. Anyways, guys, I'm going to have to wrap this up. Wonderful show. Finally, when the window is closer to being closed, it will all make sense. I think right now it looks, you know what this is? This is like a painter painting a picture and you first see him drawing random lines on the wall and you're like, what the hell is that? It just looks like zigzags. And then eventually it looks like a beautiful photo, a beautiful
there's plenty of paintings that turn out like shit ago.
Bro, it got you could see two squiggles on a page and think it was a Picasso when it comes to Arsenal. I truly believe that.
Right now, you know what they've done? They basically took a piece of paper. They took a piece of paper and they've just gone.
Yeah, and then you know what you've done? You've been filling in the gaps in between of your bullshit, bro. That's what you've been doing.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. Love for the love. People saying, Eagle, you're talking random. Listen,
right.
I think I'm making a lot of sense. You're just not reading between the lines. Anyways, we're gonna redirect this to somebody. Who should we redirect it to? Who's live, guys? Who is live? Somebody's got to be live. One of the regulars. Who's live? Let's see.
You want to do it to Dan United? New guy. He's on Potts' channel a lot. He started a new channel.
Who's it?
Dan United. I'll send you the link.
Dan United. I was gonna send it. I was gonna send it to either. I was gonna send it to Vader. Vader's a regular on this show. He's a Man City fan. I was just gonna say, guys, go show him some love. But he's not even live.
Yeah, send it to Dan, man. Send it to Dan. He's one of Potts' boys on the 12th man. He's got 10 people watching him. Let's go and make his night.
All right, so send me the link.
Send it to you on WhatsApp. Send it to you on WhatsApp.
Send me the link. Guys, everybody here, go show Dan some love. Go show Dan some love. Be like, yo, raid from Egal. Also mention Wolfie showed you some love also. And guys, I'm going to send the link to him Let's go send it his way. 1 second. Where is it? Boom. Put that video in there. Yo, I can't send it. He doesn't
It
have
hasn't
his,
unlocked. All right, Josh is
hasn't-
live. Josh is live.
he hasn't unlocked this thing.
Josh, you wanna go, Josh?
I'm just gonna send it to Vader, man.
All
Vader's
right,
live
cool.
right now.
He said he's not
Guys,
live.
it says Vader's live.
All right, cool.
Guys, go to Vader, Manchester City fan. Check him out. Tell him 115 is coming. He's gonna start crying. His name is Vader Games. But yeah, Jay, you got anything to say before we go?
Jay's not here, bro.
No?
Just you and me, Habibi.
Where'd he go? I swear he was just
No,
literally.
it's connection bugged out probably, but
Bro, why does it say Vader's not live? I swear he's live. You know when it does that? It does that thing. You know who's live? Patrick's live. I'm gonna send it to Patrick.
Monts is live.
I'm gonna send it to Patrick. I'm gonna send it to Patrick because he has like 60 people watching him. Let's send it to Patrick, guys. Do me a favor, guys. Go to Patrick and be like 115 raid. 115 raid. Tell him 115 raid, okay? 115 raid. We're out of here, people. Catch you guys on the next video. Love for the love. You already know what it is. Eagle Talks Football. Big up Wolfie every single time. Big up Jay. Big up Ahmed. Big up everybody who was supposed to be on the panel today that couldn't make it. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Love for the love. You already know what it is. Peace.